Once upon a time in Gwen's world, our heroine Gwen found herself lost in a whirlwind of thoughts, leaving her band fellows concerned. You see, it all started when a poor human got bitten by a spider from another dimension, turning them into a bona fide superhero. Gwen had a seemingly perfect life with her boyfriend Peter, until he made an ill-advised potion choice and turned into a lizard. Talk about a tough day at school. Gwen tried to save the day, but things took a tragic turn. Her dear old dad, a cop, mistook her for the culprit. Now Gwen's constantly on the run from the law. But with great power comes great responsibility, and Gwen wasn't about to let the bad guys have their way. One day, an emergency call led Gwen to a showdown with a villain, alongside her dad and Inspector Yuri. A surprise appearance from Miguel O'Hara, a Spidey from another dimension, changed the game. Together, they faced off against a formidable foe, but Gwen ended up taking the hit for the team. Trapped and facing arrest, Gwen revealed her true identity to her father, but duty trumped emotions. Just when it seemed like game over, Miguel handed her a device that couldn't hop between dimensions. Now Gwen had a choice: go it alone or join this group of dimension hoppers. With a heavy heart, she left her dad behind and leaped into the unknown. And so, our Spider-Woman swung off into the cosmic sunset, ready to face whatever adventures awaited her in the multiverse. In the quirky dimension of Brooklyn 1610, a couple sat nervously in front of the teacher, awaiting their son for a seemingly routine parent-teacher meeting. Meanwhile, a peculiar figure strolled into a convenience store on the hunt for an ATM machine. This mysterious character had the power to punch holes through dimensions and pocket whatever caught their fancy. However, their attempt at a cash heist was foiled when the shopkeeper, armed with a baseball bat and determination to rival a bull in a china shop, decided to give them a piece of their mind. Just in the nick of time, our friendly neighborhood Spidey, none other than Brooklyn's own Miles Morales, swung into action. The shopkeeper, now seeking his help, was in for a surprise. This baddie was no amateur. He could conjure up holes and vanish right through them. Miles, a physics whiz, and an all-around inventive fellow, had crafted himself a nifty suit to keep his identity on the down low while cracking down on crime. Just your typical Spidey stuff, right? But this Miles was one of a kind. He was a tech whiz, a physics enthusiast, and had a knack for artistry, carrying around a bunch of rad sketches of his friends from other dimensions. Meanwhile, back in the teacher's office, the parents fidgeted, with the father incessantly texting Miles to hurry up. But poor Miles was in the midst of a sticky situation, battling this shadowy opponent. Every strike seemed to vanish into thin air through those pesky holes. Finally, Miles cracked the code on this slippery customer and ensnared him in a web until he returned from the meeting. He sprinted to his friend's dorm, pulling a quick wardrobe change. We all need friends who can keep a secret, don't we? Moving forward, our hero barely made it into the office just before the meeting was about to wrap up. On the other side of the web, when Spider-Man blew up that mysterious lab, poor Spot was caught in the blast. The explosion, mixed with some questionable chemicals, turned him into the quirky character he is today. Job, family, and friends, all down the drain. Now he's out for vengeance, but in a twist of fate, before he can even take a swing at Spider-Man, he ends up kicking himself into a whirlwind of dimensions. Talk about a cosmic boomerang. Spot soon realizes he's hit the jackpot of powers. His hands become the universe's own portal service, whisking him off to any corner he fancies. Later that day, the Parkers gather for an anniversary bash at Jeff's place. Rio, his wife, delivers a heartwarming speech, but there's a conspicuous absence. Miles, despite his best efforts to race back in time, finds himself tangled up with street baddies, riding trains, and nabbing thieves. By the time he rolls into the party, he's greeted by fuming parents and a grounding sentence of 2 months. Grounding a Spider-Man, good luck with that one, folks. As he slams the door behind him, Miles cranks up the tunes and loses himself in thought. Suddenly, a portal opens up above him, and there she is, Gwen, the girl he's always had a soft spot for. She insists he joins her for a day out, and while Miles hesitates, he eventually agrees. Little does he know, Gwen's not here for a date. She's hot on the trail of the anomalies caused by the spot. She spills the beans on how she ended up joining the universe-saving squad, even making a pit stop to meet Miles' parents before a notification drags her away. Oh, the life of a multiverse-saving superhero. So it turns out that Gwen's mission went belly up, all because she let her heart lead the way. Now the Spot's powered up like a video game boss on a cheat code. He's hopping between universes, beefing up his strength like he's on a cosmic gym binge. Gwen's got a plan, but it means heading to Mumhattan for some local help from Spider-Man Pavler Prabhakar. Little does she know, our pal Miles, having eavesdropped on her whole spiel, is hot on her trail, bound for India like a jet-setter on a mission. Together, the trio faces off at the Spot, but this guy's juiced up and he's got them cornered faster than a mouse in a maze. Just when things are looking grim, enter the Guitar Spider, swooping in for a rockin' rescue. Now they're a quartet, and even with all their fancy moves, they can't seem to get a leg up on the spot. He's gone and fired up the collider, turning India into a madhouse. These speedies, once on the hunt, are now in full-blown rescue mode, saving folks from falling debris. The people of India erupt in cheers, thanking their lucky stars for these web-slinging saviors. Later, Jessica swings by literally and hauls all the spider folks to face the music with Miguel, the big cheese of their spider crew. What's amusing is she even scoops up Miles, who's not even officially part of their crew. As they hit the Spider-Verse, Miles gets a jaw-dropping revelation. This world is chock full of spider folk, and it's all thanks to Miguel, who kicked things off solo. But the awe quickly wears thin. Miles comes face to face with Miguel and Peter, and it's a bombshell. Miguel messed up the canon, and now the natural order of events is out of whack. Inspector Singh, meant to meet his maker while saving the girl, had his fate rewritten. It's a domino effect. Even Miles' dad, now a captain, is slated to meet the same end. Miguel and the gang have accepted their fates, prioritizing millions over their own kin. This doesn't sit well with young Miles. He's not one to just accept things lying down. He wants to rewrite his destiny and save his loved ones. But in Miguel's eyes, that's a no-go. He locks up Miles, deeming him a threat. But once Miles is set on a path, there's no stopping him. He breaks free, and it's pandemonium in the Spider-Verse. Spideys by the thousands are hot on his heels. There's even a spider cat, a spider horse, and a spider dinosaur. Seriously. What's next? A spider megalodon? Against all odds, Miles makes his way out of the facility, with Miguel's fury reaching Mount Doom levels. He's hell-bent on capturing Miles, but our web-slinger's got moves. He zips and dodges, avoiding the oncoming spider army. Miguel tries to throw him off with a truth bomb, saying Miles was never meant to be a Spider-Man. But Miles ain't buying it. He finds his way out and lands back in his own world. After his escape, even Gwen and Peter get the boot from the Spider-Verse. Furious and thirsting for vengeance, Miguel gathers his top guns and sets out on a mission to ensure that canon never shows again. And there you have it, a web of cosmic proportions. Back in Miles' neck of the woods, the chase isn't over, not by a long shot. Miguel's goons have the area locked down tighter than a pickle jar. Our kid's in a hurry to get home, zipping through the streets with web-slinging finis. Thoughts of his encounter with the Spot and Miguel are ricocheting in his brain. On the other side of the multiverse, Gwen steps into her house and finds her father catching some Z's next to her photos. Just as she's gearing up for her mission to save her friend, Miles, her father, wakes up. It's the first time they've really talked since Peter's passing. They hash out what went wrong between them, finding solace in each other. She unwraps a gift from her well-wisher in the Spider-Verse, a portal device. Without a second thought, she hops right in and lands in Miles' world. Meanwhile, Miles is sneaking through the rooftops, sliding into his room just moments before his mom can swing the door open. He clings onto her, pouring out the events of the past days. She's having a hard time piecing it all together. But when he spills the beans about his Spidey alter ego, she's in full-on denial mode. That's when it hits him like a ton of bricks. Miles realizes he's in the wrong universe. The machine flung him to a world where that spider truly belonged. His dad is gone in this reality, and his double from this world is working for his rogue uncle. Before Miles can even blink, a solid punch leaves him seeing stars. Meanwhile, Gwen lands at Miles' place, determined to find Mike and rescue his parents too. She knows she can't pull this off solo, so she recruits a team of heroes from all walks of the multiverse. Back in Miles' corner, our Starboy's been nabbed by his uncle and his doppelganger from this particular dimension. They're gunning for him with some nefarious plans up their sleeves.